taking into consideration that 70% of the people live in rural households in sub-Saharan Africa, relying on rain-fed agriculture for livelihood, chronic food insecurity is a common feature amongst them when drought strikes. The need to conduct a study to establish a widely accepted approach to measuring vulnerability saw the development of the HVI tool, the Household Vulnerability Index, in partnership with the Southern Africa Trust and World Vision International. The greatest investment is required for the 3.4% of the households in the high vulnerability category. Most of the times, these households are either female or child-headed. They live in chronic poverty and require specifically packaged and targeted social protection interventions to get them out of this situation. In order to survive, they have sold off all their assets to stay alive and have little capacity for farming.
ngithengisele utshani bese ngithola ngihambe ngithenge kulo nanyaka ke kube kuboba sitena sicala kusika tshani basobuyashala utshani kungakho nje ngihlethi kuloko ngidamala ukuphila ukuthi ngize ngikhone ukuthole ukuphila abantwana bangu5 enginabo kuleli khaya kanti nje kuphila sokolo vele ngizabe kudla.
Those that are at high vulnerability status are households that are hit hardest by the drought situation. They are relying solely on World Food Program for food. The household doesn't have even a member that is working. Parents are both unemployed. It's just the NGOs like World Vision that is supporting that household with school fees because the parents are not working.
Examples of interventions they require are food assistance to stabilize their food and nutrition security, cash transfers for the households to meet their non-food requirements like health and education costs, and asset transfer or input subsidies to help them begin to rebuild and secure their livelihoods. This will prevent them from resorting to negative coping strategies to address their vulnerability. The majority of households, 93%, are in the moderate vulnerability category of the index. Though they have assets like brick houses, electricity, household appliances and running water, they face transitory or temporary vulnerability, which makes them slide in and out of chronic situations whenever they're exposed to shocks that impact on their livelihoods. These are droughts, spikes in market prices of food and farming inputs. In the short term, they require social safety nets to strengthen their resilience to these shocks.
Lilitulu nalo liyakwenda nako lokuthi lisintshintshele ngoba uyalima ukhane ukuthi selithi sewuyabhacela lo mmbili bese uyawushaya ulanga phinde ubuyele phansi kanti noma ngabe ulime ngalesikhathi khanje sisokucinzetelwa ngilelanga noma ngabe uthole le mali khanje sokucinzetelwa ngilelanga kakhulu.
Members of these households still have a positive mindset and with the right assistance will become self-reliant. Because they have tools to be productive in their endeavors by receiving seed, fertilizer and knowledge of good farming practices, they will be good role players in their community.
In most cases, the moderate can cope. What they need is assistance in terms of knowledge, assistance in terms of inputs, good seed and fertilizer so that we can boost their yields. If we can boost and sustain their yields, we'll lift them out of moderate, and with the extra income they will get from the excess yield, they can start buying assets, replenishing their assets so they can move to the lowly vulnerable.
These households are in a vulnerable situation but are still able to cope without external assistance. In most cases, they have an income not related to agriculture and still have their assets and tools to farm. These households still have two parents and have an outside income, such as from teaching. The head of the household could recently have retired and now has retirement money to buy farming implements like a tractor or plow, goats, cattle or poultry. He can afford labor and therefore utilizes all his fields. This category will perform better when they receive knowledge in terms of right farming practices and financial management.
Sengibukela usefuna indlela ke okay indlela yosingenda njani ke nyalo sengisekhaya ngikhonile ke lokuthi ngibe nawo lama project la fire cuts kona lo ngikhuluma ngabo labo logwaja ukukhona ke manje bekhona ngidenda ke ekhaya ngale mali yabo nekuthi ke kube nelwathi uthi imali mase ngiyithole ngiyisebenzisa kanjani ke sikhona kuphila la ekhaya.
Diversified farming is another way to keep a household running. A variety of crops will contribute to a healthy diet. This will also ensure that all the eggs are not in the same basket, so to speak.
Kwale inhlangano lengisitile kule hip garden yaka IRT. So beta ke basifundisa ngilabanye labafundisa ngale kulima ngekonke so base basikine hip garden ingasesithi yona ke ingisita la ekutheni ngiyakhona kulima itamatisi ngilime na anyanisi ngothi mangabe ngifuna kupheka ungahlushekwa la ekhaya vele kuconzeka lapha kule hip garden kuthatha lokho sengifuthe kufake ti.
Ligama lami ngingihappy wakashongwe. Inkulu lendzawo nangibekisa iyamenga bo 5 hectares keja ngekuthi lana lini kahle bese ngilima noma bo 4 hectares ngawalimi onke lamasimu ngoba asilimi ngeirrigation siyalima nje ngetimvula taNkulunkulu ngasithola kahle sivuno sami sangenda ukuthi ngihambe ngiyothengisa ngiphinze ngibuyele ensimini ngakwenda lokho ngavuna ngathengisa ngaphinze ngabuyela ensimini ngase ngibuka lokuthi ngilima kabi ngoba ngiyacatsha lesigulumba ngase ngithi kungcono ngititfolele kwami ngidobo lima ngesikhathi ngase ngikhulumisana nemlimisi wami wangaleso sikhathi wathi cha ngahamba ngithenge indvo letongisita ngase ngibona ukuthi ngoba ngiyakuthanda lekulima lo ngingimakela uthanda lokulima angithenge indvo lengeke ngigongonye ngidobo lima ngesikhathi lengisifunako ngasithenga sigulumba isekeni asiso lesisha kashe nje ngiyakhona lokulima ngaso kashe nje lokulima kusitile kakhulu ukuthi kusifundisile lokuthi ungakhona kuphila ngalokulima ngaphandle yocashwa ngumuntu njengalo ngisho kusile sigulumba ngasithenga ngalokulima lama legumes basite kakhulu laba baka seed quality control ngoba bebasinika bebasimotivate ukuthi sifaka emandla sikhicite tilimo ngalokunengi kwato siyababonga kakhulu.
HVI has really assisted us as an ADP to plan and target the right people, to prioritize our interventions, and also to target the right people with the right supports that they need.
For FANRPAN, this is the best in the sense that we've been able, number one, to bring in multi-sectoral actors to engage with the food security agenda. Secondly, we've been able to develop knowledge. This knowledge can now improve the policy development process. So we developed a database that should now be used to generate evidence to inform policy making. And this is the thrust of FANRPAN, evidence-based policies for a food secure Africa.